to New Bern, North Carolina.
What would you do if arthritis pain wasn't holding you back? Play with your grandchildren? Work in the garden? Take that morning walk again? At Carolina Arthritis Center, helping you get back to living is what we do every day. Our experienced rheumatology specialists diagnose and treat arthritis, lupus, osteoporosis, gout, and other autoimmune diseases with a personalized treatment plan diagnosed for your unique needs. With advanced diagnostics, infusion therapy, and compassionate care, all in one convenient location, we're proud to serve patients throughout Eastern North Carolina. Don't let joint pain define your life. Ask your primary care provider for a referral or learn more at carolina-arthritis.com. Carolina Arthritis Center, helping you move better, feel better, and live better.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. Yes, good morning, Greenville. Good morning, Pitt County. Good morning, New Bern. Good morning, Eastern North Carolina. Good morning, Nigeria. Good morning, Africa. Good morning, everywhere in the world. Yes, welcome to another exciting and incredible episode of your favorite Saturday morning show, Pitt Perspectives, where we share stories, celebrate culture, and inspire community. Yes, you're listening to us on Awesome Radio 107.5 FM and 1570 AM WECU right here in Greenville. And to our listeners in New Bern, thank you for joining us on 102.3 FM and 1450 AM WNOS. Yes, we are also live on our Pitt Perspectives YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch channels. Yes, wherever you're watching us from, jump into the comments and tell us where you're joining us from. You can also listen online at pittperspectives.com. Yes, you can get all the live episodes on there right now. As always, I'm your friend, your brother, your favorite voice on the mic, the man with the juice, the man with the sauce, the man, the McCall, Victor Ihuka. Yes, and as always, I'm joined by my sometimes wonderful co-host. Yes, my amigos, my oremis, my former friends, AY and Patrick Mbaya Lufuluabo. Yes. What's up, guys?
I don't understand what this guy say. All right, everyone, good morning and welcome to this wonderful Saturday morning show that you love so much, Pitt Perspectives. And we are here this morning to give you, as usual, this, beautiful ride. And I'd like you to call your friends and your neighbors and everyone around to come and join us on this wonderful, wonderful episode of the show. It's going to be an amazing show this morning.
Yes, sir.
Yes. It's very interesting. Patrick.
Yes, good morning, everybody. This is Patrick once again on the 1, the 2, the 3, the Awesome Radio. It's an amazing Saturday morning. It's not too busy. It's just wonderful, and as you heard, Victor's excited. The intro had some oomph in it. That's because
you're not excited.
I am.
So why did you have to, Victor? But yeah, it's fine. Go ahead.
Oga.
He said, see, when you guys say it's gonna be an amazing show, that means you guys are trying to get me into trouble. That's basically what it means.
No, I don't think.
It's going to be an amazing show.
Because
the topic we are discussing today is
for sure.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure. But yes, so how's yours week been?
First week of resumption.
Bro.
Work.
Bro.
I don't think it's anything.
Bro,
it's been all over the place. Everybody's setting up the new courses and trying to get, into the thick of what we're about to do this semester.
I guess for me, I'm just trying to find my rhythm. First set up the office.
They will knock you to
bro. And I didn't realize having a car was such a stress because you have to figure out parking.
Yeah.
Bro, I've paid how many dollars this week just to, all this time parking.
But I thought the parkings were like 2 hours, so I didn't think it was necessary anymore.
Oh, how do you mean?
You can park downtown for 2
There
hours.
is the parking at Brewster is 2 hours.
I mean, so if you come to class, the classes are all 3 hours at least.
So well, when I come to school, I
Okay.
stay till evening because even after the classes, I need
Yeah,
to
that's
get
what I'm
back.
saying. So you can't pack for 2 hours because you're staying more
Yeah,
than 2 hours.
that's what I'm saying.
Right.
So if I'm coming to school in the morning and I want to
Yeah,
stay,
it's
there's no
difficult.
point.
Yeah,
if,
that's
you
true.
get if the parking is 2
That's
hours.
true. That's true. I guess big man problems. Because this time last year, I wasn't even thinking about packing and
You have
any
to
of
change
those
your
things.
car.
Bro, I saw my I guess my private jets in school in the
Yeah.
parking lot. I knew that this guy was somewhere
Yeah.
around the corner.
Bro, you guys have been using it to track me.
But
Like,
that's how you
everyone-
felt too then. Look at you.
Everybody's like, "What are you doing at?" I'm like, "Yo." How do you know?
Oh, they know it. They know you.
Yes,
Yeah.
they're like, how do you know? I was like, oh, I had to
Yeah,
like
it's
go
very-
through my mind. I'm like, wait, people can't be that smart or telepath.
What are you
I
saying?
had to think about why would this person
Bro, I
know?
had people sending me pictures back in the day. Like, I know you were
Yes,
here.
yeah. Yes, I did
Look
that
at
too
you.
actually.
But yeah, it's
now,
interesting.
now I don't think it's such a great idea.
Okay, now. Yes. It's been awesome radio, and this is Pitt Perspectives. We'll be back right after the break. Boom.
When it comes to arthritis and autoimmune disease, choosing the right specialist matters. For more than 2 decades, Carolina Arthritis Center has been a trusted leader in rheumatology, providing expert care for patients across Eastern North Carolina. Whether you're living with rheumatoid arthritis, lupus, psoriatic arthritis, gout, osteoporosis, or another autoimmune condition, our experienced physicians are dedicated to helping you find answers and lasting relief. With advanced diagnostic testing to infusion therapy and personalized treatment plans, you'll receive comprehensive care focused on improving your quality of life. Don't settle for living with chronic pain. Ask your healthcare provider about Carolina Arthritis Center or visit carolina-arthritis.com to learn more. Carolina Arthritis Center. Experienced care, compassionate people, better days ahead.
Awesome radio. Yes, awesome. Awesome. Can you hear it? Awesome. Awesome.
Welcome back. This is Awesome Radio Network, and this is Pitt Perspectives, the show where we share stories, celebrate culture, and inspire community from right here in Eastern North Carolina to the rest of the world. Yes, we're a global stage for local stories. Zara's Empire in the chat says, hello guys. First, has any of you ever been poor? Hey,
Zara, you have to answer that question first.
We'll talk about that.
Have you ever been?
Yeah, we'll talk about that in a minute. Yes, Zara's Empire continues to say in the chat, Victor, they don't have a car. So no matter how long you explain, they might not fully understand, you know. You would think AY drives though. AY drives a car actually. But he doesn't come to school with the car, right?
I came on Friday with it because
After hours now.
I know I missed the bus.
Oh, really?
In fact, thank you for reminding me. I was going to send a mail to ECU Transit.
Why?
The bus time is and at that place is supposed to be 12,
Right.
like 12:42,
Right.
12 and 42.
Right.
I got there 10 and the bus had left.
Oh, I
So,
think it's a driver
They should
thing
go
too.
and fix up.
Yeah, interesting. Yes. Yeah, and then Patrick drives a scooter he inherited from his school father. But yes. So today is International Youth Day celebration out in Abia State, Nigeria. Yes, come on, one time for International Youth Day, guys. Yes. So it's the event has been on for the past 2 days out in Abia. It's a weekend full of activities, keynote speakers. So the keynote speaker is Leah Limoke, who was the 2-time governor of Cross River State in
I think he
Nigeria.
was also a former minister.
I think, or a senator or something.
No, I think he was. a
Oh,
federal
really?
minister.
Okay, look at that. So, yes, amazing stuff. And super shout out to the folks at Abba Storytelling Hangout for always representing. Pitt Perspectives is also represented there because we are, one of the strategic partners. So, you will see our logo and our brand. out there in Nigeria, we've gone global. Yes, yes, yes. Ngozi Ihuka says, hello, great minds. Good to see you guys. Yes, good to see you too, Mom C. In the building. Yes, Rex Joe says, hello guys, today is IYD 2026. This is International Youth Day. And Pitt Perspectives logo is all over the place. One time for Pitt Perspectives! Come on, yeah. I just said that. Yes, amazing, amazing, amazing. Yes, let us know how it's going, Rex Joe. I think it's fascinating now that I think about it to, see folks who have called in on the show or who are part of our communities, see our branding on the show out in Nigeria. I'm sure they will feel some sense of connection or maybe even talk to someone about it. So that's why we do this. Amazing, amazing stuff. But guys, you know how we do it. Today we're talking about being poor and all of that. But first things first, we'll get to our top community news recap. Proudly presented by Carolina Arthritis Center, where your journey to health begins. What do we have today, guys?
I have the first news here, and it says tourism brings $332 million to Pitt County.
Yes, visitors spent $332.47 million in Greenville and Pitt County in 2025, a 3.9% increase from the previous year. The money supported local restaurants, hotels, transportation, shopping and recreational activities. Tourism created 2,132 local jobs and generated nearly $75 million in wages. It also contributed more than $22 million in state and local taxes, helping support public services and the local economy. Yes, moving on, guys.
Pitt County schools report fewer teacher vacancies.
Yes, Pitt County schools will begin the new school year on August 24th. That's Monday, with 23 open teaching positions, down from 26 last year and 48 in 2024. All middle school teaching positions have been filled. The district hired 271 employees since May, including 70 new teachers. However, it still needs bus drivers, cafeteria workers, custodians, teaching assistants, and other support staff. So, if you're listening to us in Greenville, Pitt County, and you have some experience, either as a bus driver, a cafeteria worker, custodian, or teaching assistant, yes, please apply for Pitt County schools. Yes, guys, moving on.
Yes, the next news here says Governor Stein vetoes election bill.
Yes, Governor Josh Stein vetoed a Republican-backed elections bill that would reduce early voting for primary and special elections and introduce new election audits and voter registration checks. Democratic Governor Stein said the changes could make voting more difficult. Republicans argue the proposal will improve election security and plan to challenge the veto. However, they may need support from other lawmakers because they do not have enough votes in the State House to override it on their own. Yes, and in our final news of the day, guys.
This comment section is crazy.
Please take the final.
All right, let's take the final
we
news.
have
Yeah.
teacher raises highlight new state budget.
Right, Pitt County lawmakers say an average 8% teacher pay raise is among the most significant changes in North Carolina's new state budget. However, some expressed concern that experienced teachers did not receive enough. The budget also includes $4.5 million for Pitt Greenville Airport and $40 million for rural health care. Lawmakers continue to debate tax cuts, school staffing, healthcare access, flooding, and funding for food assistance. Yes, that's all we have for you today on our top community news recap, proudly presented by Carolina Arthritis Center. Yes, it's been going down in the chat. You can always drop us our comments in the chat. Yes, Uchendu Njonye says, hello, guys. Yes, hello to you, Chendu. I know you are at International Youth Day celebrations in Nigeria. Yes, Omotayo says, someone called me that poor people are having a meeting. I decided to come sign in. That is interesting. Well, it's all relative anyway. But yes, Uchendu Njonye continues. I wish one of you is here today to see people trying to find out what and who Pitt Perspectives is. I feel so proud to be part of this community. Keep it up. Yes, we feel so proud that you're part of this community. Yes. And please, take the time to let them know. we have the most fun, we have the most, education, we have the most excitement here on this show. Pitt Perspectives on Awesome Radio Network. Yes, the show where we share stories, celebrate culture, and inspire community from right here in Eastern North Carolina to the rest of the world. Yes, we're a global stage for local stories. Yes, Omotayo says, my man, poverty is not relative. Oh, this is direct. Interesting. So, yes, I think that's a really good segue to what we're talking about today on our Community Voices segment, where we talk about issues affecting our lives, our communities, and the world around us. Yes, let's see how much of it we'll get in until the break. So today we are asking a question that might sound strange at first. Is being poor expensive? Yes, you might think that having less money supplies means spending less, but for many people, the opposite is true. So we are asking today, is being poor expensive? Having less money can make basic necessities cost even more. Limited access to affordable housing, transportation, healthcare, credit, and quality food can lead to higher fees, fewer choices, and difficult financial decisions. So today we are asking, why do basic necessities often cost more for people with less money? And then, does society make it harder for people to escape poverty? Why? And what changes could help make everyday life more affordable and fair? As always, our phone lines are 252-756-2008, 252-756-2008. And if you're calling us from outside the United States, it's +1 252-756-2008. And as always, you can drop us your comments, your perspectives, in the chat. Yes, in the chat. We are live on Facebook, we are live on YouTube, we are live on Twitch, we are live everywhere, and we're coming to LinkedIn soon. Yes, Zara's Empire says, I think poverty is expensive because poor people often pay more for basic things simply because they cannot afford the cheaper option up front. A person with money can buy in bulk. Oh, I see. While someone struggling financially has to buy in smaller quantities at a higher overall cost. You all agree, right? That's interesting. Zara, tell us who you are. That's a very insightful perspective.
Don't do it.
Yes, we are live on Awesome Radio. This is still Pitt Perspectives on Awesome Radio. We'll be back right after the break. Don't touch that dial. Boom.
Welcome back to the 6th Annual Daily Drum Job Fair and Street Summit happening Saturday, September 19th at CMF's Middle School Gym, 1100 Elm Street, Greenville. There will be plenty of door prizes. And while you're at the job fair, don't forget to pre-sign up for the free trip to the zoo and for children ages 12 to 17 for the all-new Kalahari Water Park. You must be at the job fair in order to sign up for the free zoo trip and the water park. Mr. Ben Johnson has all the information. Contact him at 252-258-6827. That's 252-258-6827. Mr. Ben Johnson.
Awesome radio. Yes, awesome. Can you hear it? Awesome.
Yes, welcome back. Yes, welcome back. This is Awesome Radio, and this is Pitt Perspectives. Yes, I know how to get into y'all's head now. Yes. We're talking about, is poverty expensive? Is it expensive to be poor? Is being poor expensive? Yes, in the chat, let's read some of the comments. Uchendu Njonye says, does society make it harder to escape poverty? I think yes, especially when access to quality education, healthcare, housing, and opportunities depends heavily on your income. Interesting. Omotayo says, I agree with Zara. Yes, in a bid to economize resources to get things, we spend more. Take internet data plans in Nigeria, for instance. You buy bits of bundle for much higher price than you would for the bigger bundle. That's interesting. That's interesting. And I mean, I think we all have an experience. We have some experience with buying, data credits. You all buy credits to make calls in South Africa too,
Yeah, you can.
right?
Yeah, it's called in advance.
Or in advance.
Something in advance. Yeah.
That's interesting. Postpaid or prepaid or something like that.
Prepaid or something.
Oh,
yeah.
okay. Interesting. Yeah, bro, that's some memory too, buying recharge cards and all that too. For our American audience, in other parts of the world, yes, you gotta buy airtime to make calls. So if say you have 5, 10, 20 or $50, you can buy that much airtime to make calls or send text messages.
Yeah.
After which, you have to buy another one. But here you just pay a phone bill and
Yes.
you
So in other places they don't have phone bills where people pay monthly
Right,
for
monthly and
unlimited
all.
calls. No.
I
And then
wonder if that's
besides,
even
your
an
calls,
option though.
your calls only go to local Canada
yeah.
and Mexico, but everybody else they can call around the world. They can call anywhere.
At very high
Yes,
rates
but
too.
at
You
least
gotta
they can call
put.
everywhere.
I mean, you can call too here, but you get charged. It gets added to your bills because I've tried that and I regretted it. Actually, right. I mean, you can do that either before. You can. I've been off this entire time.
No, it was mine.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So, well, let's not even get into airtimes, but that's the thing. So, let's say Ebero Zokalo says, one thing people don't talk about enough is the cost of convenience. If you have money, you can pay for convenience and save time. If you don't, you often have to sacrifice time to save money. That's insightful. That's a very interesting perspective, Ebere Ozokalo. Yes, we agree. I think it's a very, very interesting thing. So, yes, I feel like all of us here have had some experience being poor. If you haven't, say you haven't. I don't want to
What
force
does it mean to be
anything.
poor? Let's start
That's
from there.
exactly what you tell us now.
No, you. I'm asking you.
You know,
I'm asking you the question. What does it mean to be
Yes,
poor?
define what being poor exactly is.
So I think being poor, I guess, basically is not being able to afford what you need, not even want at that point in time.
Okay.
Or in the way you need it. There are a lot of different ways we can get to that. But I'll let you say something in a minute. I just wanted to.
I want to, it's like a
you know.
follow-up question to the first one. So
Okay.
you said being poor is not being able to afford what you want
Need
to,
or
the
want
needs
in the moment.
at that, in the
Yeah.
moment. So if you can afford it, if you couldn't afford it yesterday, maybe because you had to whatever,
Okay.
but now the following day you can afford it. Will you call that person a
Nah,
poor person?
we're talking about a time period though.
But you said in the moment.
So what I mean by in the moment is you could end up going for, say, a cheaper option, or which is the whole point they are trying to make, or buying one of something, or buying in
So you are saying
or
that
buying it, all of those
Being
things.
poor is
That's one way, not in the entire thing. I mean, you asked for my perspective, I guess, and I mean, I feel like also
No,
people
I'm
talk
actually
about
trying to.
no, I get it. And people talk about being poor in the mind or something. I mean, we are talking about economically poor here. It's a thing, I mean, even the Bible said that the poor in spirit, which is a whole different thing, which is a very interesting thing to even think about. But I'm thinking we are more talking about economically, and these guys have raised, I guess, a very interesting perspective about how being poor is one of the ways it's expensive is you buy things at higher prices in the moment. And the reason you're buying it at higher prices is because you can't probably in that moment or over that time afford the bigger cheaper version of whatever it is you're trying to buy.
But I'm not sure you answered the question though.
Okay.
I'm saying, I mean, you were close enough, but I'm saying that
Say, bro,
are you giving a
it's
time? Are you
subjective-
giving a time frame? If I say somebody is poor,
Okay.
if somebody can't afford something today, but they can afford it maybe the next day, will I call that person poor?
I mean, you're saying something as one thing.
So let me give you a very good
Okay.
example. Somebody who earns maybe a salary
Okay.
at the end of the month, and of course they pay their bills and all of that, and then maybe just before payday,
Right.
maybe a day or two before payday, there are some things that they want to afford, they want to get.
Right, they can't get.
But I'm like, I don't have enough money to get it, so I can't afford it, obviously.
Right.
And then I know that once I get my check, obviously I'll be able to afford those things.
Right.
Is that person poor?
So look at it like this with your analogy, right? What I'm talking about being poor is small. Take it a level backwards.
Okay.
How much does that your pay? Can it get you in a month? So, and that's a function of where can your rent, where can your salary in the month afford you rent at?
No, so
Where
in
does
this
your,
my
you know,
hypothetical situation, this
Okay.
person can afford that thing. Maybe that particular month, that person had made some extra expenses,
Okay.
like maybe major spendings to
Okay.
secure major things.
Okay.
But in normal month, maybe of course, the person will be able to afford.
Okay.
It. So will I call that person poor?
I mean, that's up to you. I'm explaining. You asked me what
Okay.
being poor means, and I'm
Yeah.
explaining my perspective with your analogy. That when I think about being poor, it's not, oh, this person has a salary for me, and then they can't do this in the moment. I'm talking about like the overall,
Protracted
the,
period of time.
the level you are at, how much your salary can afford you in a month, whether that is where you can live. Because here, for instance, you need to make certain amounts of money to live in certain places. I don't know if you know that. There are places you can't live in America if you don't make a certain amount of money. Are we good?
Like New York.
Not even New York. I mean apartments, even here in Greenville.
If you can't afford it, you can't stay there, obviously.
But that's exactly what I'm saying. So part of that too is no. Let me explain. It's net.
Are you saying like just continue.
So
Let me
conversely, that's why there is Section 8 housing, for instance, or affordable housing, where for some people who can't work, who are not working, they get to pay the most minimal. It's like social safety net. That's being poor. So I'm thinking in terms of your net lifestyle, the point you are at your life, the idea that whatever that salary is, what kind of life does it provide you relative to what you would. I mean, again, somebody talked about being able to buy convenience or buy time, right? That's more what I mean. I'm not the cherry picking. I don't know if all of that makes sense, But I was going to ask you something. I will too, but let's just get to the charts too. So the question is, abide and pray always is saying in the chat. The question is, being poor expensive is deeper than it sounds. Poverty isn't just about having less money. It can actually limit the choices available to you. Yes, that's one of what I meant with that analogy earlier. Zara's Empire said the Gen Z doesn't understand what poverty means. Well, this is not me, Patrick. So you get the chance to talk about yourself, whether that's true or not. Uchendu Njonye said, what about access to credit? You see that too. People with money often get better loan terms, while people with fewer resources may rely on expensive, informal borrowing. That can make poverty even harder to escape. Do you think it's easy to escape poverty with the way our society is built? Let AY answer. AY, you still have that in mind, but I like what he said here about access to credit, which is a big deal here in the US with credit systems. Again, the amount of money you earn also affects what credit you are able to access in terms of even credit cards and credit scores. You see what I mean? So it's not just about, you can't afford something today, but you're expecting pay tomorrow. But yes, we'll get to that. I had wanted to ask you a question. Yes, but this is Awesome Radio and this is Pitt Perspectives. Don't touch that dial. We'll be back right after the break. Boom.
Join our team of totally awesome volunteers. When you volunteer into the Awesome Radio Network family, you are valued and appreciated. Are you retired? Do you need something rewarding to do? Do you need community hours? We can be reached at 252-756-3137. We have several volunteer opportunities readily available for you to choose from. Awesome Radio Network is seeking self-motivated and positive volunteers who may be interested in learning how we do radio and community events. Visit our website to learn more, awesomeradionetwork.org, or reach us at 252-756-3137. Disclaimer: we vet our volunteers and reserve all rights to mutually accept or refuse.
Yes. Welcome back to Awesome Radio. This is Pitt Perspectives. Yes, the show where we share stories, celebrate culture, and inspire community. Yes, we are a global stage for local stories. Yes, and today we're talking about a very insightful topic. Is being poor expensive? Yes, let's see. We have some new comments in the chat. Ngozi Ihuka says, poverty is also a mindset. The Bible says, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. That's a very interesting perspective too. Yes, we'll talk about that. Ewa, remember, Uchendo is asking if it's easy to escape poverty with the way society is built. But I wanted to go back to the basics with you. When you hear the question, is being poor expensive, what comes to mind? I know you want to define poverty, but tell us.
Okay, so if you say is being poor expensive, I mean, I think it was Zara somebody mentioned already, like, what are the things that you can, afford? What kind of life would you live if you are poor? And
yes.
But what I wanted to establish first is for us to know what it means to be poor, right?
Yeah.
But if we have established what it means to be poor, if a person that is living, maybe let's say beyond the poverty threshold, won't be able to afford, some things.
Okay.
And in the long run, is going to have negative impacts.
Right.
And I think that negative impact is where the issue of it being more expensive comes.
Right.
Let's take a very good example of food, for example. A poor person that is seen to be poor or said to be poor won't be able to afford some kind of food. And the kind of food that are mostly available to those kind of people,
poor people,
will not be
healthy
as, and in the long run could cause some health issues that will cost more money.
Yes.
So that is my own perspective of looking at it. I've not even come to the side of, what Zara said makes sense in terms of buying things in bulk and looking at economies of scale. That makes sense. But I'm even also looking at it from the angle of living in the moment, but because of deprivation, you are unable to afford the things that would help you to avoid bigger expenses in the future.
Right.
For example, in the case of health.
Yeah, there's that. Even like the neighborhoods you are able to afford to live, which is why, again, people try to, I think it's Uchendu that talked about
another example that comes to
convenience.
mind is buying a car that is bad because it's cheaper.
Right.
But in the long run, by the time your mechanic your mechanic will become a millionaire from you.
That is interesting.
So in the long run, you think you're getting a very cheap car, but it's going to be, it's faulty and it's going to have issues from time to time that makes you spend more money. That in the long run, you see that you're not really saving. It gets even more expensive. So those are that's like the angle I'm looking at it from, where you buy something in the moment, you are able to afford something in the moment, but in the long run, when that thing accumulates, it becomes more expensive.
I think now that you think about it, I'm thinking that's probably the case for pretty much everything, really. Because whether it's, the idea of the car, right? Or say, things cost more per unit than it does in bulk, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
so
that was what
having to buy in units and all that, and then every time you have to buy in units, it accumulates. And that's also something else I realized. And I think I realized this from taking Dr. Ziga's development economics class in my geography masters, about how being poor even affects your mindset. There are certain, patterns or habits and choices you make if you're poor, and how sometimes it's difficult to even get out of those things, and I think, I always have to catch myself in trying to actively rewire the way you see things, because sometimes you want to get something and in your mind you're thinking you'll be spending more now if you get something in bulk. But you need to free up resources for other things, right? Yeah. You can't get this bulk stuff and sort of commit all that money into that, while you could buy this in the moment and then be able to get some bro. Yeah, being poor is stressful.
And talking about poverty being a mindset. Another example that comes to mind about poverty being a mindset is and in this case, you can disagree with me if you like. There are people who have money but are poor, and I will explain it to you.
Okay.
And it plays into the idea of when you buy things in money and in the long run it costs more. Is, you know, when you think you have money but you have a poor man's mindset, is the fact that you want to impress, show off, and you begin to make purchases and buying things that don't make sense.
I see.
Do you understand? So I'll give you another example that comes to my mind is, I think it was Banky W that shared his experience on one of their podcasts, and he said when he was like still an artist, he was just living his life, and someone was like, bro, you need to buy and all these things and show off and all. And it was like, oh, that you need to get a Rolex. I don't know how much the Rolex costs,
Expensive,
but like I think he said maybe in the range of maybe 30K or so, 30,000 or so around that time. And this person was like, oh, I can help you get it. I know a guy that is, you know, very good and he can get it for you like I think 15,000. This guy, because he wanted at the time, of course, he's saying it now in hindsight because now he thinks, he's wiser now. It's like at that time, I was like, okay, if they will get me for 14K, let me just get it and then I can show off my, you know, being an artist, and I have a $30,000 wristwatch. He got the wristwatch, used it for a couple months, and realized that it was fake.
Wow.
Now he has wasted $14,000.
Oh, I see.
Do you understand where I'm coming from? So in the moment, you will think he's not poor, but he's poor because in a bid to show off, you just flushed down the drain $14,000 to buy a fake wristwatch to impress people that don't even care about you.
I mean, so I get what you mean coming from.
So that's where the old mindset.
I see what you mean coming from. You know, with people that don't care about you. I don't know if it's like playing the other side, for instance, trying to see things from their view. You know, a lot of what goes into show business is show. That's why it's show business. So I can understand that instinct to look the part if you're quote unquote a star or whatever, but that doesn't justify it, if that makes sense.
I still think that idea of, oh yeah, a star, you need to do certain things.
Not you need to. I mean, it could be. I mean, everybody is on their lane, like right. Every community or every profession requires a certain things, if that makes sense. There are people who became stars on the back of not caring about those things, and it makes sense for. I mean, someone like Johnny Drill, for instance.
That was the name that came to mind.
You see what I mean, right? And he does amazing songs, but that's his own lane. You see what I mean? So that kind of makes sense. If I mean, not be Davido and them Bonner. If anytime they buy a new eyes, I mean, they show it off and eyes, and people get pressured by those things.
Do you think that anybody would decide today to listen to Davido's music because he got eyes?
Not like eyes. Now I'm talking about, you know, again, people not.
Funny enough, I might be wrong. I'm just thinking
not listening to his music. It's really about the lifestyle. I mean, people. The reason Mattel, the whatever signed him was the reason people sign brands is because they have influencers. Right. So people are attracted to that lifestyle. That's what they look up to. So that's just that makes sense. You know, sort of trying to play the other side. But yes, we've been talking about, you know, our experience with being poor, whatever that is. But we haven't heard from the Gen Z. Zara's Empire in the chat said, you know, the Gen Z doesn't know anything about poverty. But I don't think that's true. What do you think, Gen Z?
It's not true. You know, I feel
What's
like
not true?
Not experiencing poverty.
Each person's poverty experience is different, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think each person's experience with poverty is different.
What's your experience with poverty?
And what? Why are you asking me these direct questions? Relax.
Don't be so why ask me. You go reach all of us.
We need to ask AY these direct questions.
Yeah, go ahead.
AY, have you ever been poor
ahead.
before?
Are
you poor right now?
Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, I think everybody's experience with poverty is different. And then it also depends what you consider poverty, which is why there's so many different definitions as to what poverty is. Even though everybody has an umbrella understanding of what poverty is.
Right.
It's when you cannot afford the things that you want. So, for example, I would say right now, I feel like I'm not rich, but I'm also not poor. But there's still things that I want that I can't afford, even though I'm not quote unquote poor.
Right.
And then I also like the fact that poverty can also be a mindset,
Right.
as Miss Ngozi Ihuka
Yeah,
said.
that's my mom in the building.
Yes, and so yes, I do feel like poverty can be a mindset, just like AY said. People that tend to get all these get into a flashy lifestyle
Right.
that they might not be able to maintain, but it was because they need to show to people that, hey, I got this, I got that.
Hope you know that there are artists that have gone broke,
Yeah,
Yes.
people all the time. People
and
do that.
those same artists made money.
People, even here in the US, people do that. Again, it's part of that whole lifestyle that you think you need to,
And
So in the moment they were rich, they had money, but because of those choices, over time you realize
became
that
poor.
now they are broke.
yes.
Yeah, I mean, there are poor people who end up being broke their entire lives too.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like it's harder to get out of poverty.
So that's where
than
I
it
think that's where
is
the
to-
mindset.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
go
yes.
ahead, go ahead.
It actually is harder to get out of poverty
than
than
it is to
anything.
be poor from
Yes.
being rich. But
Yes.
go
And
ahead.
I
Because-
also feel like the way money is, some people say the money has wings.
yeah, it does actually.
Let me tell you, except if you are
It
on
does.
some billionaire level wealth, there is almost no kind of wealth that you have that cannot finish if you make the wrong choices.
Right. I mean, I see what you mean.
Do you understand?
Yeah, I mean,
so if
hypothetically,
in the
yeah.
moment, if you think you have money and you are rich and you want to be misbehaving, it's like
It'll
you just
shock
say
you,
to
yeah.
shock you.
It's interesting too because there are people who only live for, we call it la vida loca. Joy vivre, like the joy of life. They want to flex, they
Yeah,
are
I mean, that's what,
Mykonos, Ibiza, Miami, private jets and luxury yachts.
that's what I was telling these kids during
These
orientation.
kids.
Yes, as an RA, I was telling them that, hey, there's this concept of enjoy college and enjoy. Let me live my college experience. I was like, don't let that get to your head, because the moment that this college experience gets to your head and you start going to all these parties, start going to all these parties, you start doing all these things outside of your education. Don't get it wrong. Holistic approach to education is amazing, or college, right?
Right.
But at the same time, if you do it too much, then it becomes a problem.
Right.
And ECU wants you here, but the moment that your GPA drops below a certain curfew, they're gonna kick you out, and they don't waste time, because
Without
I've seen
thinking
people get
about
kicked
it.
out. They don't. They don't have two ways about it. Once you're out, you're out.
That's why there are rules.
Yeah.
Just like if you're being poor and you make certain choices and get into trouble, you could get caught up in a court case and lose all your
And lose
wealth.
money, yeah.
People do it all the time too,
Yes.
which is very interesting. So let's talk about some everyday examples. I don't know if this is something you all have experienced. Imagine you have a bill due Friday.
Yeah.
But your paycheck doesn't arrive until Monday. You miss the deadline, and then there's a late fee, right? Now you're paying more, not because you used more of the service, but because you couldn't pay at the right time. And then there's the idea of having all these nonsense subscriptions get taken out of your account automatically. And next thing, you're getting a text from Wells Fargo, your checking account is below zero. You're saying like minus
Funny
$25, and you have to check all your emails to see which subscription, bro.
So
And hold on, before you finish that, and if you wait the next day with that zero minus in your account, then you get charged an overdraft fee of $35 a day. You see what I mean, bro? Being poor is really
$35 a
expensive,
day?
bro. I can tell you from experience, being poor is expensive.
Do you know the
Go ahead,
the funny thing? In my what maybe all you term maybe poor days or broke days. The funny thing is that I never experienced that.
Oh,
like
yeah?
missing the deadline, and maybe I'll come from a more Christian mindset,
Mm-hmm.
and I feel like because that's the way I operate too in terms of even my finances.
Right. Mm-hmm.
I'm a very Christian person, you know that. I feel like God actually takes care of people.
Yeah,
I've lived
story
it.
of my life.
It's not just about
Story
just
of
saying
my
it. I've
life.
actually lived
Story
it
of my
throughout my period of not having that much.
Right.
Because I did volunteering for like
Right.
a year, which means I was earning zero. I never missed any
God
payment
used-
any payment dates.
God used
I
us
never
take care
had
of
to
it.
pay an overdraft.
Right.
I never like all those things
Right.
because somehow God
came
had
up
a way
with-
of
But that's
helping me
like
meet-
being at the barest minimum.
Yes,
yeah,
yes.
but I see what you mean.
Do you understand?
Yeah, I
Why
see
I
what
did
you
not
mean.
cross that line.
Yeah, we have a chat. Letitika B. Patrick supporter. Letitika B says, Patrick, people know I'm kidding. They said, People tend to live above their means, further putting them into poverty percentage. Section 8 housing isn't free housing, Victor. I said it. Credit cards tend to rob Peter to pay Paul. Yeah. Section 8 housing isn't free housing. I didn't say it was free housing though. I said you had to pay a certain minimum to be able to live there or have a certain employment condition. And I didn't say it was free housing.
Don't forget,
By the
to
way,
even get an
I
apartment,
was-
to even get an apartment, you need to show that you're employed.
That's the thing. Bro, okay. An international student got here. He needs a guarantor.
Yes, you.
And then I asked them, can I be a guarantor?
They say you are poor.
Pour me. Pour me.
They
Bro,
said you
they
are
said, nah, they said I have
Even you
to
need
be.
a guarantor.
Oh. Yeah, you the craze. Bro, they said I need to be
No,
making.
but it's the truth now.
Chill now. Why
Sorry,
are you?
sorry.
See, now don't start.
No, but
now.
I experienced it too. Like
Bro,
when I was getting
Who's
to-
owner? It's him right there. Don't
my
say
first
owner.
laughing
my,
too.
my first year in Paris School, I needed a guarantor too.
Everybody needs a guarantor, but I'm trying to say.
No, I
me-
don't need a guarantor anymore.
No. I mean, if you're coming in new, I'm saying if you're coming in new, you need a
Big
guarantor,
man thing.
right?
He don't need
But
a
they're
guarantor
trying to
no more.
say I need to be making, cause typically to even get the rent, you need to be making more than I think about 3 times your rent in a month, right? And they say the guarantor has to be making at least 3 times the person's rent. They are trying to guarantee. So imagine making 3 times my own rent, and also be having to make 3 times.
Plus your
Plus,
own.
yeah, that's how you
Jesus.
guarantee. I'm like, well, we need to find find a
You need to
solution.
find another person.
You see what I mean? So
Oh yeah, that makes sense. Like you must be able to pay that person's
rent
fee
and
for
then
them
my
pay your
own,
at the
you
same
know,
time. Yeah, that
it's
makes sense.
crazy. So I realized,
But then,
you know.
in essence, that
Maybe they
doesn't
should
mean
just
you won't
do
be
double
living
now.
there. Why would you be living there if you earn that much?
well, there is that. Some people live in places for certain
Maybe
things.
they could just make it double at
And
least.
then if you're living somewhere else too, that means you have to be making 3 times that
True, yeah.
too. So that's more.
But it actually
Ceiling,
makes
yeah.
sense though,
Yeah.
because if you are making your rent, then
That's the idea, you know.
making 3 times your rent means you can pay your rent and do
And
other
pay
things that
a
you need to do
month,
with your
then,
life.
and
Yeah,
then
it makes
even pay
sense.
the next month if you lose a job or
Yeah.
whatever.
You get,
too.
yeah,
Yeah.
it makes absolute
Well,
sense.
yeah.
Like,
So
yeah.
there's this thing that I've been trying to get across since this topic started, and it's that in essence, in life, you kind of need to buy your way out of poverty.
Buy your one of
And-
everything. Yeah.
No.
Wait, let him land. Let him land.
I'll tell you what I mean. For you to be able to, quote unquote, escape poverty, you need to have an education. That's the
Yeah,
biggest. That's the
right
biggest,
now. Yeah, yeah.
easiest way to do it. Right?
And it's not just school education, but go ahead.
But to do that, you need to pay school fees.
Yeah.
You're talking about school education.
Whichever kind of education you mean, you have to pay for it.
Oh yeah, okay. That makes
Whatever
sense.
level of education, you have to pay for it.
Okay.
And that means you need to be able to afford it. If you can't afford it, you get kicked out. So you need to be able to. I don't
Right.
know how it is.
That's why they do loans. but
And I
go
think
ahead.
Yes.
that if for anything, that's one thing I would be grateful to Nigeria for,
which is
which is the education parts. And I don't know what it is now, but when I was in school in Nigeria, I was paying next to nothing as school
oh yeah.
fees. So
you're in a federal university.
yeah, I was in a
right?
federal
Yeah,
university,
that makes sense.
and my school fees was I don't know what it is now, but then it was really cheap. I paid
But
next to
then,
nothing.
even then too,
And
there are people.
So
who
when people say
struggle.
things like, "Oh, Nigeria has not done anything for me," at least I have that one. I might not be able to say any other thing, but that one, the Nigerian government heavily subsidized my education. I'm not okay. Let me correct that. My university education, because they did not subsidize my.
Right.
I attended private schools from primary to
Oh,
secondary,
okay.
but like my university education was heavily subsidized by the government. and
Right.
For that.
But
I'm
what I was
grateful.
going to say too is that even with that subsidy, right?
Yeah.
Even with that subsidization or whatever,
Yeah.
there are still people who struggle to pay that.
Yes, but my if you cannot afford my school at that time,
That's
then
I
mean that's
It's
poverty.
the,
but
You
yeah.
are-
it's,
you
the,
are-
it's the same thing with
Yeah.
it's the same thing with
because
essays.
per semester then I was paying like I think 5,600 naira.
If that's the whole point of federal universities to let
Yes.
the poor breathe, you know.
Yeah.
But
And
yeah, let's
it's,
see.
it's also a true thing in South Africa.
What
like,
the heaven?
it's
See,
also-
okay.
Yeah, it's also a true thing. Victor
Oh
wants
yeah.
to just
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was saying it's also a true thing in South Africa. Like the law says every child must go to school.
Yeah, I think it's
Yes.
a
And if you go
United
to-
Nations thing.
Yeah, and
now.
if you go to public school, even if you can't afford it, they let the child stay at school.
Oh wow.
Because they'd rather have a child in school than a child who's living at
Right,
home.
right.
Because they know that in like 5-10 years time, they are going to suffer. The government is going to
Yeah,
suffer.
actually, yeah, that's a whole thing. Yeah,
It's going to become a
'cause-
problem to society.
Yes, that's actually, yeah, that's true. That is
Yeah.
very, very true. But yeah, Uchendu Njonye says, oh yes, this is awesome radio. We'll be back right after the break. Don't touch that dial.
Do you have documents that need to be notarized? We provide notary services by appointment 252-756-3137.
Awesome radio. Yeah, it's awesome. Awesome. Can you hear it? Awesome. Awesome.
Yes, welcome back to Awesome Radio. This is Pitt Perspectives. Yes, the show where we share stories, celebrate culture, and inspire community. It's been an amazing conversation. Yes, Uchendu Njonye in the chat says, one sign of poverty is that your internet can go completely off at any time it chooses. That's interesting. You know, that's not just an outside America thing. There are people who have to pay internet as part of their rent, utility bills,
Yes,
right?
yes.
So talking about being poor, there are times you can't afford to pay that in a month or whatever, because some people also pay their electric bills in addition to their rent as a separate bill.
Yeah.
You know, there are all those things.
I would think most people actually.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yes.
But I mean, it makes sense to have it all inclusive in the rent. To be
It
honest.
makes sense.
Yes. Nkechi Promise says, "Am I late to the poor people
It's
meeting?"
not a poor people meeting.
What the heaven? Yes, she goes on to say social networks matter too. If you have financially stable friends and family, you may have someone to borrow from during an emergency. Poorer people may be surrounded by people who are struggling just as much as they are. That is true, actually. That's a very interesting thing we haven't talked about. Having those network of people too who would be able to, you know, get out of it. Now I'm thinking to just like the point you made.
But talking about having people around, though,
Right, who are financially stable.
Yeah, that makes sense. So what I even wanted to say, maybe now I realize that it's a bit off what this person is saying, but I was to say it anyways. So there is a saying in my language that if you have one rich person amongst 6 poor people, then you have 7 poor people.
right.
So what that means is
Yeah, the
that
pressure.
the pressure from the other people,
Especially in our culture that's
Yeah.
very communal.
Yes.
Yeah, some people can have money and be beefing with their son or their immediate family, and they don't care. Their money is theirs.
Yeah.
It's an American thing, but where we come from, you don't just make money or wealth for yourself. You have a responsibility to
to
your
at least
family,
help,
at least, you
when
know,
you
your
can,
community, which is a
because
very
I feel like
interesting
even
thing too.
you I don't think you'd want to be a wealthy man and you have very poor people, like poor family members, or at least immediate
Some people
immediate
here
family
don't even
members.
care.
No, like like you being comfortable with seeing
right.
your siblings, your parents, you know, suffering.
But I'm
and
saying,
you have
that
enough.
comes from our culture. That's why
Okay.
you're
Yeah, it
thinking
comes from
about
how
it.
you're raised.
Okay.
Bro,
It comes
people
from how
here,
you're
some
raised.
people here don't even care one bit.
there are people, I've
Because
met-
they work for it. Think about
Yeah.
it. Time,
Yeah.
time is money here. They
Yeah.
put their time. and,
I've
you
met
know,
I've met
go
a
and
guy.
work. You
I've
know.
met a guy that had like a house, you know, a whole family. He had like a boat. He had like a company. He was doing well. Then he was telling us this one time we were talking about family. He told us how his brother has been struggling. He's been in and out of this and that. He used to have a house, but doesn't have a house anymore. Blah blah blah. Like his brother is struggling in life, and I'm like, but how is that possible?
So
'Cause
but
you are not.
to clear that we are not trying to like encourage irresponsibility.
Yes,
Except
obviously.
if there is an obvious sign that this person is trying to take advantage of, I have a rich
But even to contradict that,
Yeah.
if I don't care how irresponsible my brother is, if I have money, my
You try and
job is to
support
get
them.
No,
him
you need to care.
out.
You need to care. I'll tell you why you need to care. Because if you have a sibling who is very like comfortable being where they are and they are not ready to do anything to also strive, you're not seeing any effort from them. If you keep sponsoring that irresponsibility, just know that you are not helping them.
Maybe
in the long
not
run.
sponsoring. He's talking
Because there
about
is- there is-
whatever it takes to get them out of that
Yeah.
situation.
Check the-
But
yeah,
I get what you
that
mean.
makes sense. But
I get
like
what you
for a
mean.
person who the only reason why they are where they are is because I have a rich brother.
Well, I see what you mean.
Do you understand?
You both are making sense.
I mean,
yeah.
in a, especially somebody asked the question about is the society set up to help people come out of poverty? We know that there's a way society is set up, especially in some of Nigeria, for example, where it's possible for someone to be striving hard and still working, and it's not making much.
Yeah.
So there is that. You see that this person is striving hard because of the society.
I mean, even here too,
They are
some
not
people will
making
tell
much.
you that the society here is set up to keep you poor.
Yeah, do you understand? So
You know.
they are doing their best. You can see the effort that they are putting into it, but just because of where they are, things are not coming as much as they should.
And
obviously, you
and
should
then
be helping.
sometimes some people need that big leap, to get them out of that situation too.
Yes.
So what I was going to say to the whole point of the difference in culture is how back in the day you must have had the story of someone who has an uncle abroad who is always saying their uncle doesn't do anything for them, doesn't want to help them. And then the uncle here, because you have to work for every dollar every cent you earn here, is thinking,
that's what it is everywhere.
No, I mean, like here it's much more. I mean, people can give you stuff back
Okay,
home
I
as
get
a
what
matter of that
I'm
whole
saying
community
makes
stuff
sense.
too.
Yeah.
But here nobody gives you any handouts, on the macro level anyway. So
I get what you mean.
the uncle will be like, go and work. Tell them to go and work, something like that. So it's a very interesting thing.
But go and work is great advice, though.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about the society and the system being against people too. So
it's been an amazing show, but
it is. Uchendu Njonye says poverty is expensive, the mindset is limiting, your approach to things, choices, and involvement. In all you do, don't be poor. Interesting. Letitica B. Okay, now you've moved to AY. AY, I absolutely agree. Letitica B. Okay.
Yes.
Interesting. Meleo.
Yes. Yeah, let's go.
Yeah,
I'm
go
going to
ahead.
run quickly.
Yeah.
We
That's
have our first international community welcome dinner
Yes.
happening today at St. James.
I'm very
That
excited
is
about
2000 East 6th Street, and the dinner runs from 5 to 8 p.m. We also have the next Pitt Community College is hosting a candle making workshop on Thursday, August 27th from 6 to 8 p.m. Do you have anything else? Yeah, I think Winterville Watermelon Festival.
Yeah, next week.
Yeah, that is next week, August 27th through August 30th. That is 324 Sylvania Street in Winterville.
Yes, amazing show today,
Yeah, it
guys.
was.
Yes, I think if there's one lesson I learned just from like Uchendu and Junior says, don't be poor. So try to not be poor. So yes, it's been an amazing stuff too. So guys, keep supporting your community, keep asking questions. It's been an interesting time from all of us on Pitt Perspectives. See you next week on Awesome Radio.